Are you sure you've been washing bitter melon the right way? Many people think that simply rinsing bitter melon with water is enough, but the truth is, that's not sufficient. Bitter melon has a rough, bumpy surface with many tiny crevices, making it very easy for dirt, bacteria, and even chemical residues to cling to it. If you only give it a quick rinse under running water, these impurities don't completely disappear. They remain hidden deep inside those tiny grooves that the naked eye can't see. That means your dish may look clean, but isn't necessarily truly clean. Today, I'll show you a proper way to wash bitter melon. Simple, but effective at deep cleaning every little crevice that regular washing often misses. First, put 1 to 2 tablespoons of cornstarch into a bowl. Slowly add water and stir until it reaches a consistency similar to thin yogurt, or a slightly thick paste. Because of this texture, it can coat the entire rough surface and get into tiny crevices that your hands can't reach. Don't make it too thick, or it will be hard to rub, won't get into the grooves, and may clump. Don't make it too thin either, or the cleaning effect will be reduced. Next, place the bitter melon in a basin of water to wet it. Then apply the mixture over the entire surface. Gently squeeze, rub, and rotate it with your hands for 1 to 2 minutes. Move in circular motions and along the length, focusing on the bumpy areas. Cornstarch has a granular structure. When mixed with water, it swells and becomes slightly sticky. It can trap dirt, impurities, and slime. As you rub, the starch particles act like fine scrubbing beads, creating gentle friction, enough to remove dirt without scratching the surface. As a result, impurities are pulled out and stick back onto the starch layer. That's why, after rubbing, you'll see the mixture turn cloudy or slightly dirty. After rubbing, place the bitter melon into a bowl of water. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Add more water until the bitter melon is fully submerged. Stir until both are dissolved. Salt helps remove any remaining impurities and also supports reducing bacteria, making it especially suitable if you plan to use bitter melon for raw dishes like salads. Baking soda helps loosen and detach stubborn residues, while also reducing some of the remaining chemical traces on the bitter melon. Then soak for 5 minutes. Place a ceramic plate or a weight on top to keep the bitter melon fully submerged in the water. Once the time is up, remove the bitter melon immediately. Do not leave it soaking any longer. Rinse it under running water, gently squeezing as you rinse to remove all starch residue and impurities. It's nice to know that we see each other all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. It's great to see your support. After washing, the bitter melon is thoroughly clean from the inside out, no longer slimy, with a dry and smooth surface, ready for any dish, whether stir-fried, stuffed, or eaten raw with confidence. Next, I'll reveal a dish that sounds a bit unusual, but once you try it, you'll never forget it. Bitter melon stir-fried with eggplant, a combination that may seem unrelated, but it creates an incredibly addictive flavor. With just a few familiar ingredients from your kitchen, if you do it right, this dish will taste far better than you'd expect. Start with the bitter melon. Cut off both ends and slice it in half. Use a small spoon to gently scrape out the inner core. After scraping, you'll notice a white layer sticking inside. This is the main source of its strong bitterness. If you enjoy a light bitter taste to deepen the flavor, you can leave a little of it. Otherwise, scrape it clean, and the dish will become much milder and easier to eat. Bitter melon is often considered a gift of summer. It helps cool the body, reduces greasiness, and makes meals feel lighter. And when combined with eggplant, you'll be surprised by how delicious it becomes. After cleaning the core, cut the bitter melon into 2 or 3 shorter sections. Then slice it into bite-sized strips, not too thin and not too thick. Don't cut it too thick, as it will be harder to absorb seasoning and may taste bland inside. Don't cut it too thin either, as it can become too soft and lose its crisp texture and characteristic flavor. Once done, place all the bitter melon on a plate. Next is eggplant, a simple ingredient that actually determines whether this dish turns out amazing or not. Cut off both ends, then divide it into 2 or 3 shorter sections. Each section is sliced in half lengthwise. Then each half is cut into thinner slices. And finally cut into bite-sized strips. Place all the eggplant into a bowl. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix well so each piece of eggplant is lightly coated with salt. Don't skip this step. Eggplant naturally has a slight astringent taste. If not pre-treated before cooking, the final dish may turn out firmer, less tender, and less flavorful. Let it marinate for about 10 minutes. This is a small but important secret. It helps the eggplant become softer when cooked, and also reduces oil absorption, preventing the dish from becoming greasy while still keeping a pleasant, balanced richness that is very easy to enjoy. While we wait for the marinating process, we take this time to prepare the supporting ingredients. Small elements that may seem simple, but are actually the soul that brings out the full aroma of the dish. First is garlic, an essential ingredient when stir-frying eggplant. The garlic is smashed to release its natural essential oils, helping the aroma become stronger and more fragrant when exposed to heat. Then, it is finely minced to make it easier to sauté until fragrant in the pan. Place the garlic in a separate bowl and set it aside. If you enjoy a slight spicy kick to stimulate the palate, you can add a few sliced chilies. Chili not only brings heat, but also enhances the overall flavor, making the dish more vibrant, bold, and addictive. Add the chili together with the garlic so that all the aromas blend from the very beginning of cooking. Next is scallions. Cut them into short bite-sized pieces and set aside. Although simple, scallions play the role of a final layer of aroma. When added at the end, they bring a fresh fragrance, balance the richness, and make the overall dish more harmonious and well-rounded. At this point, the eggplant has also finished marinating. At the bottom of the bowl, you will notice a lot of liquid released. This is actually a good sign, meaning the eggplant will become softer, more flavorful, and less greasy when cooked. Next, rinse the eggplant with water to remove all excess salt. Where are you watching from? Please leave a comment to let me know. Then, place it in a clean towel or cloth and gently squeeze out the excess moisture. This step is very important. The drier the eggplant, the less oil it absorbs during stir-frying, making the dish lighter, less greasy, and naturally more enjoyable. After squeezing dry, place the eggplant in a bowl and make sure to separate each strand so they do not stick together when cooking. Heat a pan and add a little cooking oil. When the oil is hot, add the bitter melon first. Stir-fry quickly over high heat to preserve its vibrant green color and slight crisp texture. A gentle aroma begins to release. Slightly bitter, but very fresh and refreshing, stimulating the appetite. Bitter melon is a very special ingredient. When cooked properly, it is not difficult to eat at all. In fact, it has a unique flavor that many people even prefer over meat or fish. After about 2 minutes, when the bitter melon is almost cooked, add the eggplant. Since the eggplant has already been pre-treated and seasoned, it will not absorb much oil during cooking. Instead, it becomes soft, lightly glossy, and quickly absorbs flavor. Continue stir-frying over high heat, mixing well so both ingredients blend together. The green of the bitter melon mixed with the purple brown of the eggplant creates a visually beautiful dish. Rustic, yet extremely appetizing. Stir-fry the eggplant for about 1 to 2 minutes. When the eggplant starts to soften, becomes slightly translucent, and absorbs the oil, add the minced garlic and chili. At this moment, the aroma bursts immediately. fried garlic becomes fragrant, chili adds a gentle heat, making the dish incredibly irresistible. Stir quickly for another 30 seconds, then add the scallions. Finally, season the dish. 1/4 teaspoon salt to balance the taste, 1/4 teaspoon mushroom seasoning for natural sweetness, 1 teaspoon oyster sauce for richness and depth. There is no need for too many seasonings. With this type of vegetable dish, simplicity preserves its natural deliciousness. Over-seasoning will make it heavy and take away its light, refreshing character. Do not add seasoning too early, as it may release too much water, making the eggplant too soft and the flavors diluted, no longer properly absorbed. Stir quickly for another 10 to 20 seconds, then turn off the heat. The final dish is a beautifully balanced stir-fry of bitter melon and eggplant. The bitter melon is slightly crisp, fresh green, with a gentle, refreshing bitterness. The eggplant is soft, slightly rich, fully infused with seasoning, and almost melts gently in the mouth. The aroma of fried garlic, a hint of chili heat, and the natural sweetness of the vegetables blend together to create a truly satisfying flavor. Not greasy, not heavy, but increasingly addictive with every bite. A dish that seems simple, yet delivers a perfectly balanced, flavorful, and surprisingly unique taste that will make you want to try it as soon as you see it on the table. It is especially perfect for hot weather, and the cooking method is very simple. The video ends here. If you have any comments, please leave a comment below. If you find the video interesting, please give me a like. Don't forget to share it with your relatives and friends. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Goodbye. See you in the next video.